Stephen, could you sort of explain to me so that my sixth grade students can understand um, about the Vietnam War? How would you explain it to somebody who maybe didn't know much about it?
The Vietnam War history is related to the American history. The Vietnam War started in 1945 when the French left Vietnam. So they divide the country into two parts, North and South. And the North Vietnam was with the Soviet and China, they go under the communist government. The South of Vietnam go with the capitalism, which is American. And the war continued fighting between North and South, the Civil War, until April 30, 1975, that's the war end. And many people in Vietnam, many family has people either die or injury from the war. And because the civil war between North and South, so many people, brother fighting with brother, sister fighting with sister, uncle fighting with nephew, and all these things like that. Family fighting with family.
Because some people lived in the north and said maybe
Yes.
you had family that was in the south. And
Yes, because, but they all same Vietnamese. It's just different belief and different understanding. But mostly the people from the north, they've been brainwashed with the idea and the concept of communism, and they see things differently. But the people in the south more with Westerner more. They were colonized by French, so they're influenced by French people, and after that they colonized by American, and they're influenced by American culture and technology, so they are more open-minded than the people from the south.
from the north.
From the north,
Yes.
yeah.
Was your entire childhood, was the war going on for your entire childhood?
Yes, I was born during the war. I was born 1959, and the war was, that's the beginning of the war, 1960. Actually, it was 1959 January that the war starting.
And so your whole memories of Vietnam is of a country at war.
Yes, it is, every day.
And did you have that sense, in terms of your family and where you grew up? I mean, how did the war affect you?
Because when you're born in the war and you grow up in the war, it's just like normal things. And people die constantly. You talk to somebody in the morning and in the afternoon, they're gone. And you just, that's it. It's not important anymore because people die constantly. It becomes normal. It becomes used to lifestyle there.
Did you live in a city or did you live in the country?
Yes, I live in the city. I was born in the city also. It's a Saigon city, and they call it that time. Yeah. Yes.
Are you comfortable telling me about your family?
Yes.
Brothers and sisters?
Yeah, we grow up in a very big family. We have 12 children,
Wow.
5 boys and 7 girls.
Oh.
Yeah,
And where did you fall
the
in
soccer
that?
team right there.
Yeah, right. And were you the oldest, middle? Where
I'm
were
in
you?
the middle one.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I'm the middle one. Yeah.
I see. And did any of your family stay in Vietnam?
Yes, I have 2 sisters, 1 younger sister, 1 older sister, and 1 older brother stay in Vietnam.
I see.
It's the war close to the city, so you hear B-52, which is the bomber, constantly. Actually, when I come to United States, that's the thing I miss, the sound of the airplanes, and you hear the bullets, flying everywhere, and you get used to it, so you don't see the difference. But on the day, April 30, 1975, when the sound, when the North, when the North entered to Saigon City, took over the whole government, and that's when you see the difference. You see a lot of guns, drop on the street, and many people they try to leave the country, so they hang on to the helicopter, and when the helicopter took off, you see the people jumping down because their hand broke or they couldn't hold on to it. So a lot of chaos. But growing up in the country that war constantly, so you don't see very much different because that's the thing you see every day, and you feel things like that every day. So.
You were telling me that you were training, you were holding a gun when you were 13 years old.
Yes.
Can you tell me about that?
Yeah, I was trained in the military, American military, like a West Point here, when I was 13.
So you studied at a similar institution in
Yes.
In Vietnam.
Yes, yes.
When you were 13.
Yeah, I trained by American, and they also teach me English there.
Ah.
Yeah.
And you held a gun,
Yes.
and you were preparing for military service.
Yes.
But you left Vietnam before you were involved in the war, correct? As a soldier?
No, actually, when I was 15 or 16, the north of Vietnam the communist government took over the part of South Vietnam, which is capitalism, and they pulled me into the military.
In the North Vietnamese military?
Yeah, under the communist government.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And I was training there for 3 months by them. And they sent me to Laos and Cambodia
Uh-huh.
to fight for the war.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. When
And
I
how
was
did you
16 or 17.
And when did you end up leaving Vietnam?
I escaped from Cambodia,
I see.
went back to Saigon,
Uh-huh.
and took a boat to left Vietnam in the Pacific Ocean. And
Where did the boat go?
my first stop was in Malaysia.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, a refugee camp in Malaysia called Pulau Bidong. One of the origin of refugee camp, and one of the most terrible camp. And you have no food, no water, nothing at all.
Who ran the camp?
It ran by the Malaysian government, Malaysian police forces, and it was assisted by United Nations and Red Cross.
I see.
Yeah.
How old were you when you came to the United States?
About 21.
And what was that like?
I don't know, but I always, since I was 8 or 9 years old, I always want to come to the United States.
Oh.
And I
What
always,
made you want to come to the United States?
because I like the Washington Bridge. I saw the Washington Bridge postcard. I love it. So I said to myself that if I pass the Washington Bridge once, I can sort my life Spain for 10 years. I don't mind. And my mom always told me, what are you doing in the United States? And I said, I don't know, but I just want to go there to study. So now my wish come true. I live nearby the Washington Bridge, and I graduated college here. And the beginning it was a very tough time because I didn't have any family, friend, or relative. I didn't have any money neither, not even 1 penny in my package. So it was tough. Actually,
Had you studied English in school?
in Vietnam, but I studied English in school in Vietnam, but the English over there, what they teach you overseas, mainly like from England, more like it. So when I came here, the pronunciation and the way the people speak in English in America, especially in New York City, is completely different. So I had to relearn it again. I was working 3 jobs a week, so I didn't have time to study. So what I did, I wrote 2 words in English and understand what that means in Vietnamese, and then every 3 days I review it again, and I wrote the words. I tape it on by my door and by my refrigerator, so every time I open the apartment I see it, I learn it. Every time I open the refrigerator I see something, what is something I see it, I learn it. And my problem now, I know how to, pronounce, how to write the English language and understand what that means, but my pronunciation becoming a problem. So I was taking buses to go to work, And when I'm on the bus, I look at somebody, I say, oh, this person friendly. So what I did, I step on his or her toes and try to apologize, and then try to say, you know, today's Monday or Tuesday or today's beautiful day, try to create a conversation. And then I bring up the word that I just learned that I didn't know how to pronounce it. Sometimes took me 5 times for them to respond back to me. What up? How to pronounce it? I say, oh, that's how you pronounce it. That's how I learned the pronunciation.
You didn't take any classes?
No.
Ah.
Now another thing I need to learn also that conversation with the American language speaking. Years ago they used to have people that they make sales. They call you up and they try to make a sale to you, and you can have a conversation with them half an hour. They still want to say it because they want to make a sale. So that's how I learned my speaking with the American language speaking people. Feel good to becoming a citizen because it's a fortune to live in the United States, and especially when you live in New York State. And the human rights and the protection and the opportunity very wide open in the United States, and you have many chances. All you have to do is just looking around and patient and work hard and concentrate, then you will get what you want. But back home and in other country that under the government, if you're not part of the government, then it doesn't matter how intelligent you are, how good you are, and you cannot go anywhere. And on top of that, if you're so intelligent, you probably endanger your life. So this is a great country in the world.
Now you were telling me a story about the river. Can you in terms of your experience, tell me about that.
If I swim over the river and then somebody also want to cross over the other side of the river, if I see the bridge, I will point out the bridge to that person, so that person doesn't have to get wet and doesn't have to swim over the river, with a lot of hassle for
And
it.
what do you mean by that? What's the point of that story?
It's a point that means if I have the experience that I suffer, I pass through with the hardship, and somebody want to go through the same experience with me, I will show that person all my knowledge and experience to make this person less suffer and less waste time and be safer on the other side.